I'm not going to be very popular for saying what I'm going to say about some of these popular designer bags. Hello, and the warmest of welcomes to today's video. For those of you who haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Nick, proud to have you here. For those of you who have seen my face before, thank you so much for joining me again. I hope you're enjoying my videos. I put out videos roughly 3 times a week on a range of different topics, anywhere from fashion, some slightly more personal topics. So if that's something you would be interested in, then please head down, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, join the conversation. I love chatting with you all. I'm all about living life loud, and what that means to me is being your authentic self, being proud to be you, just celebrating who you are as an individual on the daily. Now, I apologise, I've been a little bit MIA recently. I went away for a few days. I had a break down on the English coast, which was absolutely fabulous, and still managed to bring a little bit of fashion to Cornwall, which was lovely. And then I was ill for a few days. No other way to say it. So I haven't really been able to create much or even really think too much about topics that I wanted to discuss. But this video that I'm going to share with you today was inspired when I was on the Luxury Promise site. And Luxury Promise have fantastic pieces. I bought my Mulberry Bayswater from them, fantastic. But there was a particular item that they were showcasing, which I know to be incredibly rare and to be a very niche, a very expensive, very coveted item. And I was looking at it and I thought, why? I could not understand it. I just thought it was ugly, to be honest. And they just happened to have it on their site, which was why I saw it, and I thought, oh, I know people have done these in the past, but I'm interested in, you know, kind of ugly designer bags. I can think of or find others who have done these videos. I will of course link them below. But yeah, I just wanted to rattle through some relatively popular, well thought about, coveted designer bags that I just think are ugly. Now, as with all of these types of videos, realistically, I'm just, you know, a guy sat here rambling on the internet, so you don't have to take my opinion, take it with a pinch of salt. If you own one of these items and you love it and you've saved and you've, you know, put your heart and soul into it, enjoy it. Honestly, enjoy it. You will probably loathe half the stuff that I own, so please, please, please enjoy it. But these are just my personal opinions, and yeah, I said what I said. I said it. Well, I haven't said it yet. I will say it. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get into the item that kicked this whole thing off. What was the item that I happened to see that I thought, ugh. Oh, I'm coming for a big one. The cargo Birkin. The Birkin for me is beautiful. I love a Birkin. I think it is sophisticated, I think it is timeless, I think it is elegant. I just think that they are so chic, and you can get them in these range of sizes. They can go from evening to day, you can get travel ones. Fantastic, beautiful bag range. Would love to think that maybe at some point in my life I will own one. The cargo one, oof, it is not chic. I don't think it's sophisticated. I don't understand it. I am not the customer for this. I absolutely appreciate that. Partly because when some of the prices these go for, you could buy a pretty high-end car for what some people are charging to get their hands on a cargo Birkin. I just don't understand it. I don't know what was needed. Why did you need the pockets? Why did you need this more utility vibe? Bring out another bag. Bring out a different bag. You know, I think Hermes have done some fantastic variations of the Birkin. The Shadow Birkin was a brilliant variation of it, but it's still so sophisticated and sexy. This isn't sexy. This isn't sophisticated. This isn't charming. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm a lover of the Birkin, which is why this pains me, because this version, and it's so expensive as well, and I know that there will be people clambering to get their hands on it, and it will be so hard to get hold of, but I personally cannot understand the point of it. Hermes bags were quite an interesting one for me, actually, because I was on the Hermes site, and there's not that many that I look at and I think are beautiful. I'm a big Birkin fan. I love the garden party. I like the Her bag. I think the Kelly's nice. I don't think it would suit me, but I think the Kelly can look incredible on others. The Constance, I prefer the rectangular Constance to the square one, but when I see the square Constance styled, I always think it looks really great. Other than those, they're not my fave. Like the Evelyn, not so much. The Bolide, I don't think it's ugly, but I think for the price point, that's a lot of money for something quite unexceptional. But I'm sure the quality is incredible. But I think with the cargo Birkin, they've tried to modernize it. They've tried to attract a different customer base. They've tried to show the versatility of the Birkin range. They're trying to, I guess, make the Birkin a product portfolio in itself, so it's no longer just the Birkin. It's now going to be, you know, the classic Birkin, the shadow Birkin, the cargo Birkin, the, you know, whatever else. So they're almost having these limited edition spin-offs. And this one, I can imagine, is to try and attract maybe a slightly edgier customer base, maybe to bring a slightly more casual nature to the bag. I can see what they're trying to do with it, but I just think it loses the essence of what this bag is, and that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate for me, because it's such a beautiful item to begin with. Why mess with it? Just bring out another bag. Just bring out a different bag and kind of leave the Birkin alone, is my view. But I was having a little bit of a search, so I did think, you know, okay, so let's say that this was your aesthetic. What could you buy instead? I was on Moschino yesterday, and I am a bit of a Moschino fan, because I like the whimsy of it. And I came across this bag, wherever I put it on the screen, and this gave me a similar feel. Now, granted, Moschino isn't Hermes. This looks like a less expensive variation. It looks like a cheaper variant. However, let's call a spade a spade. This is 1,500 quid. This is, I'm assuming, from the boutique, probably 10, 15, 20 grand, going for, in some cases, 50k on the pre-loved market, or the second-hand or reseller, whatever you want to call it. This for 1,500, this for 50. I'm gonna go over here. This for me is a pretty low score. This is probably a 3 out of 10. This may be a 2.8. But to save myself 45 grand, I'm going to go for the 2.8. But I ain't going to go for either of them. Like I said, I'm not the customer for this. I don't have this particular style. I said what I said. Ooh, and I'm coming in hot. This is another popular one. I don't know how this one's going to go. And again, I know a lot of people who own this. Oh, the Pochette Matisse by Louis Vuitton. Just don't like it. I can understand the practicality of it. I assume that the shape is very practical. I can imagine it's quite comfortable to wear as a crossbody. Don't understand the price point, in all honesty. You know, I feel like I would much prefer to buy a Speedy over a Pochette Matisse. Be honest. Don't love it. Not at all. This isn't, again, I'm not the customer for this. I'm not a huge fan of those kind of accordion style bags. In the same way, I don't like the Celine sort of variant where they've got, is it the trio? Is that what it's called? I don't like those ones where it's got the little dips in the base. I like a bag to be solid. I like it to be somewhat structured. I'm not a huge messenger bag type of individual. Not a lover. The one variation of this that I could potentially get on board with would be an Empreinte. Particularly, I liked it in the blue with the red piping, which is interesting because red isn't a colour that I gravitate towards, but I quite liked it in this. I get from a practicality perspective, but I think there are less expensive versions of these types of bags that will do the same thing and will likely give you a similar quality level. Particularly, I heard no end of people buying 2, 3, 4 Pochette Matisses because they were having issues with the quality and the glazing, etc. I mean, just give up with it. Give up with it. I don't personally think that the bag is beautiful enough. I certainly wouldn't replace it 3 times. It wouldn't be worth it to me. Sorry. Okay, next up on my tour of coming for top tier brands, we're going to move to Prada, and this is the Prada Clio. What is this serving? What is this trying to be? When I look at this, I see UFO. Particularly in this silver. I have seen in other colours and I think, oh, okay, it's okay. But in the silver, I just see UFO. And I can't imagine this to be incredibly practical. I think this would sit awkwardly, in all honesty. I can't imagine it'd be very comfortable either because of the shape of it. And it looks like it would be quite structured. If anyone owns this bag, let me know. But I can imagine it'd be quite firm. And I don't know how comfortable that would be if you've got your arm next to you. That ridge, I feel like, would dig in. So I also don't feel like it would be massively practical. This wouldn't be a hit for me in any capacity. The setting would be difficult. I like the simplicity of the fact that this is what I like about Prada in general, actually, more than this bag, but I like the simplicity with Prada. I like the fact that they often just have a nice leather in a nice colour with their logo. I like that about their items. Would this be the one that I would personally go for? No. I would go for many other Prada items over this one. This wouldn't be a hit for me. Okie dokie, let's go to one of my favourite brands. Let's go to Longchamp, and we are going to talk about the Longchamp Brioche. I think I've referenced this before. I have gone and looked at this. Again, there's one colour, the pale pink, that I think this was okay in, but this personally does not float my boat in the slightest. I don't like the way that it's stitched. To me, it makes me think of an inflatable airbed, which I know is kind of what those kind of puffy styles are about. But this, when I look at it, I think inflatable airbed, you know, being 16 at a sleepover, or 15 hanging out at someone's house, the parents get the inflatable airbed out, they get their Longchamp Brioche out, blow it up, put it on the floor, and you sleep on it. That's what this makes me think. The buckle is also too large, it's not in proportion. Yeah. The chain also, to me, looks a little bit cheap. And Longchamp's materials are not cheap. So the fact that it looks this way, I wasn't enamoured by this. And when I saw it, I thought this might be a bag that when I see it in store, when I see it in situ, I'm going to look at, and it's going to have this ray of light around it, and I'm going to be drawn to it, and I'm going to immediately take back everything that I've ever thought about it. I didn't. I kind of walked up to it, looked at it, and went, yeah, it's okay. For the price point that it is, I would sooner go for a Mulberry Lily over this. But actually, I wouldn't go for the Lily. I would sooner drop the price point and I would buy a Kurt Geiger flat bag. I'd buy a Kurt Geiger Kensington. Would be my preference if I was going to... If someone was to say, right, now you have to go, and in this kind of price point, you have to go and buy yourself a flat bag. What are you buying? I would sooner buy the Kurt Geiger Kensington over this. Which is a shame because you know I love Longchamp bags, but I love the Longchamp top handles in particular. I think that's really where they have hit their stride for me. This, I don't gravitate towards in quite the same way. Oh, this one's an interesting one. So this, probably similar in terms of the reasons why I don't gravitate towards this style, similar to the Pochette Matisse. This is the Dior Bobby. Now, what I cannot get on my head, by the way, I love this blue colour. I saw this on the Caro first. Love this colour. This is a fabulous, fabulous blue, that kind of petrol blue. Stunning, absolutely stunning. The shape of this bag, one half of a derriere. That's all I'm going to say about it. I can imagine it's very practical. I can imagine it's easy to wear. I can imagine it's easy to style. I would far sooner go for a Caro, a 30 Montaigne, a Lady Dior, and crossbody them. I'm not a crossbody bag person anyway. We know this, so it's probably a little unfair for me to be saying these, but these aren't the ones that I'm saying I wouldn't buy. These are the ones that I look at and I think that's unattractive. So it's not about them not suiting me. It's just I look at them and I think, I don't even look at them and go, oh, I love that, but I couldn't wear it. I look at it and go, I wouldn't want to wear it. This, what could say? Maybe in the oblique, maybe. I could maybe see that. But no, this for me, it's an odd shape. Do you all have some odd shapes? They have some very classic silhouettes, but then they have some odd silhouettes as well. But some of them work really well. Like, I do really like the saddle. I know that some individuals say, what do people say that looks like? Is it there's a body part. Don't go there. But the saving grace of this is this colour. They do some fabulous colours in this bag, but then they also do the same fabulous colours with, like, the caro. So I would sooner buy the caro. However, do I think the caro is anything exceptional? Outside of this colour, no. But this colour is exceptional. That's all I have to say. Okay, and let's quickly rattle back round to Moschino. So I referenced Moschino earlier, just to give you that alternative to the cargo Birkin. However, what I really don't like in Moschino are some of their novelty pieces. Some of them I think are fun, I think they're fine. This particular one, this vintage coin purse closure with the high heel below it, I do not understand. We all know I love a high heel. I'm wearing a high heel right now. However, this I cannot understand. I do not think it will be practical. I don't think it'll be useful. I think it's cumbersome. How do you hold something like this? How do you flex something like this? I know this is something that was probably produced for, you know, you could see it at maybe the Met Gala. You know, Jeremy Scott creates some really interesting pieces and really interesting looks for attendees there. I particularly loved Tracy Ellis Ross's picture frame that she had back in 2019, and Casey, I cannot remember her last name, oh my word, but she dressed as Barbie and she looked incredible. So he does some really interesting looks. This, in the real world, not cool, not cute. But some of them can be fun, but this one I just think is ridiculous. The colour's nice. I would say the colour's nice, but I think on the whole it's an ugly bag. The proportions of it are way off. It looks like some odd stiletto boot, but it's not even a good stiletto. Like, if this were to be a shoe, if someone would say, we're going to cut the top off and you could wear this as a shoe, it's not a shoe that I would want to put on. Let's put it that way. So, this I don't like at all, and I don't like that type of clasp either. That very vintage clasp. I can understand where they were going with it, but that's not a journey that I'm going on with them. But I do like some Moschino pieces. As an example, this I mentioned on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go and follow. But I mentioned on Instagram how I've been thinking about an Alma, potentially. Now this I found, and I am very much putting this on my wish list, and it's at a reasonable price point, it's about £750. So, let's see. Anyway, moving on. Okay, and finally, this is from Bottega, and this comes off the back of hearing the news that Daniel Lee has decided to move away from the brand after 3 years as their creative director. Really interested to see what he does next, because I think he's done some incredible work with the brand. He's managed to modernise it and diversify the customer base without losing the heritage and the core of the brand, which is a really no easy feat, so congratulations to him. However, one of the bags that I think he's brought in that just really doesn't hit the mark for me is the Jodie, in particular the mini Jodie. The reason for this being those kind of more pillowy bags I can get on board with, but this one I can think it would be cumbersome. I think the proportions of it are slightly odd. The handle versus the body of the bag, they're almost the same size, they're almost the same thickness, and that throws me off somewhat when it comes to this particular item. And I don't know how would you only hold it top handle, but then I can't imagine that's the most comfortable top handle without squishing the leather, because I do hear that Bottega has incredible leather, so I can imagine that it squishes easily, but then would you want to? Because you wouldn't want your hand imprint in the bag. So, and then would it go through the crook of your arm and there? So I don't know. This, yeah, is this practical? Maybe not. I can't imagine you can fit a phone or anything. It's an awkward shape, so can you fit anything in this? Maybe not. Do I think it's that pretty? No. Again, Bottega do some fabulous colours, but I would far sooner buy a Bottega cassette with chain as an example. Again, I shared on my Instagram recently the 2 items that I would love from Bottega, but they came in at about £4 combined, so that's a lot. So I will not be buying those. So yeah, I just don't think this is that cute. I think that the larger Jodie size is okay. It's a shoulder bag, I can understand it. I think it's a little bit more sophisticated. This I just don't understand. I would sooner purchase a Jacquemus bag that is still that kind of mini bag, top handle, impractical. I think I prefer the Jacquemus to the Bottega Mini Jodie. I think there are prettier mini bags out there. I don't think this one works. I don't think it's cute, to be honest. The proportions of it are strange to me. So that's just my view. Okay, so there we have it. Those are some of my probably quite unpopular opinions on design bags that I think are a little bit unattractive, shall we say. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you own any of these bags, again, I apologise. Just my feeling. You might think a lot of my bags are ugly, and that is a-okay. So, anyway, thank you as always for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care.